no idea. So slow.
Oh my God, you guys need to listen to me. Ridiculous. I'm so sick of you. I'm sick of you. No, everyone, shut up. I know what it's like
to be diagnosed with poetry at birth.
You think you know what it's like? No. It's like an impulse of insight.
Fools, let me enlighten you. It's like being a Greek god. I am a puppy-trampling wordsmith. I'm like Hephaestus. I grip my hammer of knowledge with a strength that makes bone-crushing alligator jaws seem like a lover's embrace. I pound my hammer against the anvil that is vocabulary and make the thunderbolt that is poetry. Then, like Zeus, from my top Mount Olympus, I hurl my thunderbolt at those that test me. I do not appeal to the muses. They come to me and they beg, "O mighty wordsmith, teach us the way you weave your words into such beautiful poetry. You must have drank nectar and ate ambrosia to loosen your tongue so." I say no! I've only drank in firewater and eaten the dollar menu that is life. I appeal to no higher craft in the creation of I appeal to no higher power in the creation of my craft. I unroll the leaf of syntax, crack the wrapper of grammar, sprinkle in some poetic license, roll it up light and watch it burn slow, because I am the Dutch master of language and I leave the audience choking off my acrid smokescreen that is poetry. Virgil came to me and asked, "What's the underworld like?" I told him, "Hang with me for a night and I'll take you to hell and back. Hades and Mephistopheles are my dice-shooting pals and they both owe me souls. I've betted the three fates and they tried to cut the string of my life short to keep me longer. Because I am a gosh darn wordsmith and I have a vocabulary like Webster and his flippin' dictionary. I will rhyme orange with purple and it will be smooth. But I have a warning for all you would-be wordsmiths out there. Beware, beware his fiery beard and his shifty eye, for he hath ate honeydew and drank of the milk of paradise." And then I came back for seconds, because I am a freaking wordsmith and I wield my poetic nunchucks like Bruce Lee, crushing skulls and blowing minds.
You think you know what it's like? No. I am your impulse of insight, born in your mind and sparked from a moment of ingenuity. I am your hopes, your instincts, your escape, your very existence, looped within cursive letters, linked with commas, colons, dashes, ellipses. You are my reason for life, but my survival is restricted by mind's fabrications, living in books, immobilized. Your incantations and fantasies to render me free, to float in imagination, escaping even gravity. So I spawn a personality as web-spun words allow me to be. My purpose is enhanced with every page so that readers soon envy my imposed cage. Yet I am your pressure of pretense, a scapegoat conceived in belief and expiring in suspense, bleeding ink and losing limbs like the center brace to the letter A. No, I am in bondage, caught, bound within tattered covers and confined thought. Still, you remain enmeshed, for I am the fictional character, alive in all but flesh.
I was diagnosed with poetry at birth. My symptoms started showing soon after. At birth, my heart was replaced with a chia pet, who fed exponentially on the expression of every breath until the alternation of pleasure and pain extended so far down my veins that it reached my fingertips in a violent explosion of ink. I have since been in a constant state of, I need to release the alphabetical buildup that builds in my throat so that I can once again breathe. I was diagnosed with poetry at birth. And this here pen, it's my syringe. And I was granted the poetic license to write the prescription for a 3 times a day prescription, inscriptions, so that you can question the fictions that you let slip from your lips without listening to the rapidly read side effects of believing everything that you hear. Because I was diagnosed with poetry at birth. I drained pens quicker than junkies shoot heroin. They have no idea what poetry has going. The high of what a poet can write can put the ear back on Mike Tyson's fight so that you can hear, so that each and every one of you can make more clear the human condition that you perpetuate in a crock pot marinated with fear. I was diagnosed with poetry at birth. So go ahead, you call me over-emotional. It's like calling Facebook antisocial. Get original. Poetry is the one place where boys can cry. And girls, they play on the same team as guys. It's where freedom prevails over the proliferation of lies. And it's not that Uncle Sam, read your literature, freedom kind of bullshit, no. It's real freedom. I was diagnosed with poetry at birth. And pens are the seeds on which my poetry feeds. And when my windshield wipers play tag, the vision becomes clean. And it says, question everything that you believe. You may be uncomfortable if you've watched the news, I hope you have, with what you've recently seen. But ignorance is bliss got called out on its bullshit, and poetry is doing it with wit. It's trampling down a dominant ideology. It's leaving trilling words that say, follow me, away from this mediocrity. With these pens, we can reverse tragedy. So take it to the page, bring it to the stage, and let's unfold beauty. And that's what it's like to be diagnosed with poetry.
No. This is what it's like. It's like taking a morning dump. Like laughing out loud with your best friend and not really knowing what's funny. It's like taking that first plunge into the pool, and it's cold. Like staring into the sun for too long. It's a bad idea. Like pulling your pants down on the count of 3 and realizing you were the only one that was serious when everyone said, let's get naked. Like taking one shot too many. Like walking across a small town on a winter morning where your thighs are tingling and your mouth is frozen in the shape of the mountains in the distance. It's like watching the road blur by in the rearview mirror. You're supposed to be looking ahead, but you can't help but to glance into the past. And in the corner of the mirror, you see a part of yourself, and it's like a closed door. Like the door at the top of 3 flights of stairs to your lover's apartment, where the blinds are closed and the lights are on, and you hear voices. Like the voices you hear in your head when you're lying awake at night, putting names to the shapes you see on the ceiling. It's like knowing your grandmother's dying, and you don't even know her. Like ignoring a phone call from your mother. It's like not knowing anything for certain. Someone once told me we're all liars, but I know what it's like. It's like gliding over snow on 2 planks, like inhaling pine trees. It's like a much-needed long embrace, or reading by a blazing fireplace. It's like hearing a familiar voice, or holding a stranger's hand, like flipping through the memories of a children's book when you're 20, and feeling an absence of a part of yourself. Like running outside to put your lips to the first snowflake that finds you. Like trying to quiet your mind in the midst of a thunderstorm. It's like closing your eyes and falling.
It's like being diagnosed with poetry at birth.
It's like an impulse of insight.
It's like being a Greek god.
That's what it's like.